So this morning, I am to come and give the message on I'm saved, now what? Coming from Colossians 3:2. The New Living Translation says, think of things of heaven and not of earth. And I have a story that goes with that because, fooling with Miss Purtle, that's always my preference to everything. So fooling with Miss Purtle and being obedient, it was on May 1st. It was 7-something in the morning, and I was getting ready to have my Saturday twist glaze from Midtown Donut or my Tiger Paw twist and my 6 donut holes to drink my last cup of coffee for the season because it was getting warm, and so I needed just a little coffee and my cream and sugar so my donut to come back home and just do absolutely nothing on a Saturday. So Miss Purtle says, or she calls or texts, I can't remember, well, come up here to the church, we're giving away food. I said, okay, I'm on my way because I'm obedient. Yes, Miss Purtle. So I get up here, they put the food in my car, and here comes Reverend Williams. By my car said, you speaking this month. Yes, sir. And the only thing I said was, I hope it's not May 16th. I hope it's not May 16th. Hopefully it's not May 16th. But that's all I did, because, okay, so then I went into, okay, Lord, what you want me to say? So then Miss Purtle calls me later on that night, and she says, excuse me, Miss Skinner. I said, yes, ma'am. Well, you're going to be speaking on the 16th of May, and, okay, so it's the 16th, yes, ma'am, no problem. So what's the thing, what's the topic? And she says, we're talking about I'm saved, now what? And I began to laugh. Oh, I laughed so hard. I mean, not mockingly, not sarcastically, but I'm laughing like, I know you're not, what? You ever been in a situation that what you're in and what you're dealing with, but you can't put it on, you can't name it, but you know it's true, you can't explain it? I said, that's the life that I'm living. I'm saved, now what? And so she goes on and gives me the text, but before that I said, so you just want me to get up there and just start talking about what I'm dealing with, what I'm going through, because, so she gave me the text. I said, oh, it's a text to go with it. Okay, then I can do that. But so as I'm asking the Lord, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to share? I'm still thinking, I'm saved, now what? Because all of us, if you think about it, we've always asked that question. Man, we again, meaning me, I'm gonna put y'all in my mess so I can really get through this. So we have always been in a now what moment. If you think about life milestones and life as it is happening, when my sisters and them were going out, and I couldn't wait to be able to dress up like my sisters. But then when I was able to put some clothes on, I'd be like, now what? I couldn't wait to turn 15 because I was sweet at 15. 16 was a so what moment. 15 was a now what moment. So I couldn't wait to turn 15 and 16. And then when I got to be 18, I was grown. Legally, I was grown, but I was still in my mama's house. So, that comes with some prefixes on it. You just really don't do what you want to do grown in your mama's house. But I was grown at 18. Now what? I still can't get in the clubs I want to go to. So, I can't wait till 21. Got my ID. Couldn't wait. One of the places I went to was a liquor store, put liquor on the counter because I knew they was going to card me. They called me more now at 50 with gray hair than they didn't even call me when I was 21. So, now what? Went to school, got the degree, got the job. Now what? Now what? Now what? We're always in a now what moment. Because it deals with time, and we're depending on God for a time. We're waiting on God when we're saved. But now that you have received Christ and you have salvation, and you don't even answer the question anymore, you don't even debate your salvation anymore. Are you born again? We still doing that? I'm bought and sold. I've been paid for. You can't take me away from him. I belong to him. I know whose I am. So I'm no longer getting into that, are you saved? I got to deal with living in this life, living in this world, and living this life and being in that now what moment constantly. And so what that does for me, it finds me being twixt and tween, from responding to reacting. You know, when you respond, there's an opportunity for you to kind of bring calm and peace to a volatile and chaotic situation. You can restore relationships and build friendships and work together in community, and everyone accepts responsibility and is willing to work. The Holy Spirit reigns when you respond. But then when I'm reacting, it's in the moment. Ooh, when I'm reacting. See, that's that potential to destroy some things, to cause blame, to blame people, to accuse people, and then to destroy. And then it's not that it can't be repaired, but it takes a long time to repair something after you reacted versus when you responded. The flesh you will have allowed to rule when you react. But how does that really look now that I'm saved? For me, I should have said for you, but I'm really talking about me. So I'm going to say, but for you, how it looks is that you go from crying out to cussing. You know how you've been tired? But have you ever been so tired, and you think not just with COVID, but in life, where you're so tired that you barely can walk? It seems like your body is so heavy, you're so tired that your brain doesn't send a signal to your legs to move, and you're barely doing it. But you know you got to get the work done, and you're just so tired. Have you ever been so tired that you didn't want to eat, or you didn't eat, but you only ate because you had to take your medicine? Have you ever been that tired? Have you ever been too tired that you wanted to cry, but you couldn't cry? Have you ever been too tired that you couldn't sleep? But have you been so tired that if you did sit there and eat, you just barely put the food in your mouth? Been so tired that the only thing that you can do is just cry out, Lord, have mercy. Lord, I'm tired. I'm tired, Lord. And sometimes a tear may come, and sometimes you go into a full-blown shoulder shaking, tired, but the work still has to be done. You can't stop because you're tired. And I can only think of those of you with children and other responsibilities and being tired. I'm single, and I'm crying like I got everybody in the world depending on me, but I'm tired and I cry out. And even when I can't utter the words because I'm so tired. And when I start to moan, I thank God that the Holy Spirit intercedes on my behalf. And I get a reprieve. I still am able to get up and do what I need to do, even in that tiredness and that weariness in my body. But then, if it had been a minute before or a minute after, I wouldn't have been crying out. I would have been cussing. You would have found that me going through that. Freaking, not necessarily cussing people, because I'm typically in my car cussing people. Miss Purdy can attest to this. Miss Purdy, I want to cuss. Miss Purdy, I want to cuss. And I don't wear it as a badge of honor. I don't, because I remember being in the 8th grade at Jeter Junior High. And me and my friend, we just walking and talking. I'm just cussing. It's part of the conversation. This is just what we did. And Coach Jones, his Teacher's Appreciation Month, Coach Jones, who was not my teacher, but he was mean. But he was a teacher at the school, Shannon. He was a teacher at the school. That means that's that teacher that be in everybody's business because they're concerned about all the children. And then your kid will say, she ain't even my teacher, but I'm a teacher at the school, baby. I'm going to take care of you because your mama don't see what you're doing. But Coach Jones was a teacher at the school. So I'm walking, and he stopped me and he said, ladies, don't talk like that. Because I wasn't cursing around him. I was cursing, away from him, but, the gym, probably how the acoustics are, he was able to hear what I was saying. I didn't know. Ladies, don't talk like that. And so, not wanting to be unladylike, but today in 2021, don't want to be ungodly-like. My responses and my reactions are different. And so here I am saying, Lord, why am I going from the extreme, from crying out to cussing. But then in the same instance, when it appears that the enemy is thwarting what God has called me to do, when he seems to be derailing, and it seems like I can never get the work done, and it seems like I keep doing the same work over and over, and I just don't really know. I feel like a hamster on the wheel. I just can't get it together. There are some times when I just start praising God. Lord, I thank you because I can see the hand of God in it. The manifestations are coming. I'm listening with my heart to God and not with my eyes. And so here I am. I'm blessing God. And Lord, I thank you that I couldn't get no work today. I've called my friends and started complaining about the day. And then in the midst sometimes of that complaining, I go, well, you know what? Girl, God, baby, it must be something big happening because I can't get no work done. I've called Miss Purtle some days after work, said, bless the Lord with me. Bless the Lord with me. She said, what you talking about? I said, I couldn't get no work done. Because the work that I had to do on my to-do list, somebody came and gave me some more work to do. So it's like, which work do you want me to do? Because I'm trying to do the work that you said do. The work that I could do, I would do, but I can't because I'm in the meeting. So bless the Lord with me. I see God. I'm trusting, I'm believing God for healing and restoration. And so it has to be major. And I akin it to when the angel Michael, the archangel Michael, and they were contending over the body of Moses. And Michael had to get back over there to Daniel because that book is important. You know, the book that no man can open but Jesus. That book was important. That was vital to the ministry, to the glory of God. And Michael would say, the Lord rebukes thee. Because you're in the distraction, but the glory of God is in this work that you're trying to stop. And so sometimes when I'm responding and I'm praising and worship, I think of the work of the Lord, how big it is versus this distraction. But then there's some times, had it been a minute before or a minute after, the same person, because I realized that I wrestle not against flesh and blood, but I would have been looking at that flesh and blood and wanted to move into pistol whipping mode because I'm reacting in that moment. Again, when I'm responding, it's the spirit that reigns, but when I'm reacting, it's the flesh that rules. So I find myself betwixt and between. But that's just not really the crux of it, though. I have a holy predicament being betwixt and between. Because that cussing and that pistol whipping is going to be minimalized. I ain't going to say that ain't going to happen tomorrow because it's Monday. And you know, on 385, they like to walk their cars. Fred Flintstone drove faster than they did, so they need to go see his dealer, right? But on 385, as they walk their car between Ridgeway and Riverdale, or Riverdale and Ridgeway, I'm praying that I move over to the response side. But where I really find myself being saved and answering the question, now what? Because again, for me, it's not a question for me to ask or a statement to be made. It is the life that I'm living. It's how I'm living. And I find myself in a holy predicament. You know, the kind that Paul found himself in when it came to his life. He said, you know, I would rather, you know, whether I live or die, I can be here with you and continue to tell you about the goodness of the Lord, about Jesus who took me, who was killing Christians, and he changed me, and I'm his biggest fan, number one fan. I can tell you how he's changed my life. So to be here, to stay here and live and be able to share God with you, that's a wonderful thing. But if he decides that I'm to die, I get to be with Christ. So my predicament, my holy predicament that I'm in, it's attached to the plan and the purpose that God has for my life. You know that plan that Jeremiah says that I know the plan that I have for you? And then the promises that Joshua said, how long is it going to take for you to go and get the promises of God? How long is it going to take you to go get it? So the promise is in the plan. And then when you pray, you, meaning me, when you pray and you ask God, how does he want this thing executed? What should you be doing and what should you not be doing? And you earnestly pray and you write it down and you begin to work the plan. But the plan don't seem to be working. And you say to yourself, well, wait a minute, because I got skills and I got abilities and I got talents and I know people, I can get a consultant. What do I do to get this plan of God to really work? Let me go pray some more. The Lord said, go to work. Okay, so I'm going to go and work the plan. And it's still not working. What do you do? But for me, the predicament that I find myself in, what I do is I say, Lord, am I leaning toward my own understanding? Because if it's not working, then, Lord, and I know that it's you gave me the plan. I trust you, Lord. I take you at your word, so it has to be me. So am I leaning toward my own understanding? So do I need to do some more work? So then I start working again. I work from a different angle. Do I need to work at day or do I need to work at night? But then the question comes up, is it faith without works that's dead? So I'm twixt and tween, leaning toward my understanding, and faith without works is dead. Lord, which one is it? But I'm glad to be in this predicament because it keeps me and continues to keep me in the presence of God, where I can think on those heavenly things and not those earthly things, because in everything that I do, I want to please God. It's my desire with my life. And so here I am, twixt and tween, leaning toward my own understanding. Lord, am I doing that? Because as Gladys would say, I don't want to do wrong. Because it's been so long for these blessings to try to manifest themselves. I just don't want to do wrong, Lord. So which one is it? Am I leaning toward my own understanding? Or is it faith without works is dead? How much work should I do? How long should I do it? Should I do some more work? Should I get somebody to help me with the work? What should I be doing? Is it faith without works is dead? I need to know, Lord. But in that, I still can go to today's text and say, now what? So even as I struggle with those two, leaning toward my own understanding and faith without works is dead, and waiting on God's manifestations in my life, one of the things that I can do to simplify this answer, if it's still a question for you, that my when God question has become a declaration of my faith. So I no longer say, when God, you going to heal my sister? God, when are you going to heal my friend Sybil? Lord, when are you going to restore my friend Megan and her family? Lord, when, God, are you going? When? I no longer am in that when God, questioning when God is going to do some things. I have moved into the declaration of when God. When he delivers my sister from the mental illness, the schizophrenia, and the demons that she faced daily. When God delivers her, when God delivers my nephew for the demons that's trying to take his soul, when God heals my sister Sharon, when God heals my friend Sybil, when God is no longer a question, but it's a declaration of the faith that I have in God. So I'm saved, now what? You're going to be twixt and tween. But you find your twixt and twin. I can't tell you where you are with God. It's an individual, custom-made thing. For Tangi, it's am I leaning toward my own understanding, or is it faith without works is dead? Because I don't like to do double work. If I did a report and gave it to you, I'm going to need you to search your email and figure out why you don't have it. Because I can be doing something else. But the Lord keeps sending me back to do that report, so I'm like, okay, well, Lord, I guess you trying to teach me something going back, because it appears that they keep saying they ain't got this report. So, okay, then, and you spend a lot of time searching the email to prove that you send them the email. Just send the email. Right. But I struggle with that. Pray for me. So in that now what? Just knowing that Christ, because of who he is, we're already saved. He wants us to have this life and have it more abundantly. But we got to figure out which side of the twixt and tween we're going to swing to. But if you find yourself over here with me reacting, just know that you stay before the throne of grace. He moves you back in position to think of things of God and not of this earth. Let us stop listening with our eyes. Stop believing what our eyes tell us. Tell your eyes to shut up. Because if we keep listening with our eyes, we'll believe what the world is telling us. And we become hopeless. And we lose faith. And because I'm a firm believer that we're the only God that people see, We are ministry to people. And that's not an easy task. That's not a task that most of us didn't want. Who wants to be scrutinized for everything that you do? Well, Christians do that. You know, and then sometimes they tempt you anyway, just to see how you respond. But we're the only God that people get to see. And so if we're struggling with the now what, just imagine those who don't really know Christ is struggling with. And so we need to be honest with people about what we're in and what we're dealing with. Because we have people tied up and in bondage because we, for whatever reason, want to act and pretend that life is not happening to us. I'll take it again. I'm almost done. When I had to file bankruptcy, I cried in the lawyer's office. But I had a friend that had been on bankruptcy for years. She hadn't said a word. She heard me for about 6 months talking about how I was struggling. And then at the last minute, she said, well, you know, I filed. Why you ain't tell me? Here I am struggling, mentally thinking I had done something wrong. And you in bankruptcy and you didn't say nothing? We're around here living, pretending, being more concerned with how things look than the way they are. And people are dying because we won't share and testify what God has given us. He allows us to go through so that others can be saved, and we are to thank him for it. We get blessed for it. So why not thank him for it and just share that? So again, I'm saved. I ain't gonna even say that no more. I'm like, I'm good. I'm saved. I'm good. I'm gonna be with the Lord. But my now what determines who comes to Christ. My now what determines who develops a real close relationship with God. My now what. So I just pray that he keeps me responding so I can draw from the Holy Spirit and let him reign than to let my flesh rule. Bless the Lord on this morning. Bless God.